In the name of God, thanks to the organizers of this Congress. My name is Mina Ahmadi. I'm researcher at a National Fish Processing Technology Research Center of Iran. The title of my presentation is The Negative Impacts of COVID-19 on the Aquatic Processing Industry. Introduction. The COVID-19 pandemic will continue to inflict heavy damage on aquatic processing industry, particularly for fresh products and popular restaurant species. On the supply side, fishing fleets are lying idle, and the deteriorating outlook has seen aquaculture producers drastically reduce stocking targets. Many seafood processing businesses had to reduce production or close down completely in response to COVID-19 and lockdown restaurants. It is expected that the production of seafood and its trade value is reduced. Demand for packaged and frozen products has had a significant impact on retail sales as household demand for non-perishable food has increased. The labor shortage caused by the epidemic has affected everything from initial production to the end of the product chain. Furthermore, widespread containment measures can have a notable impact on nations that trade significant amounts of seafood, reducing foreign incomes or threatening food security. Keeping the supply chain open is fundamental to avoid a global food crisis. The COVID-19 pandemic negative consequences. Many fisheries faced complete shutdowns at the onset of social distancing restrictions if they were not considered vital to national food supply systems. Knock-on economic effects from markets disruptions have further impacted small-scale fishers' ability to pursue their livelihoods through twin disaster of reduced demand and attendant collapse of prices. Slashed prices due to reduced demand from local restaurants and hotels have drastically reduced fishing activity, and factories are closed or operating at reduced capacity. Access to cold storage is more important now than ever to reduce fish waste and loss and maintain local food security. Fishing communities and the ports could potentially become hotspots for rapid infection due to the migratory nature of fishers and frequency of international visitors. The COVID-19 pandemic negative consequences continue. In processing plants worldwide, women tend to occupy temporary and lower paid positions. Don't have access to social protections after losing their jobs and are more likely to be laid off. In many places that are highly dependent on tourism, declines in global travel will have devastating impacts on local livelihoods and likely lead to increased pressure on local resources to meet food and livelihood needs. Steep plunge in prices and supply. Shrimp, for example, are selling for a mere 10% of their normal price. Similarly, dramatic price drops have been registered for fresh salmon, trout, and boycott. Massive flight cancellations have hurt trade in some high-end fresh seafood products. Fish and seafood exports have fallen by 30% since the outbreak, and Indian fresh consignments to chain have dropped by 10% to 15%. The pandemic is also affecting supply, with economic restrictions keeping many boats anchored in ports. The catch has collapsed by about 80%. The region's confinement measures have hurt small-scale fishers the most, with less than 10% of their vessels currently casing nets. Tourism, which has also been heavily affected by the pandemic, tends to be the only economic alternative for fishers in these countries. Impact of COVID-19 on the market. Fish and aquatic food value chain is currently witnessing a medley of challenges ranging from shutdown of operations, changing consumer demands, market access and logistical problems, and transportation and border restrictions. Supply chain interruptions caused by disruptions in transportation, trade and labor have halted both fish farming and commercial fishing operations. Delayed stocking of aquaculture feed and system is impacting production, with rising prices threatening to be key followed. Closure of restaurants and hotels, which represent large buyers of fish and seafood, has impacted sales significantly. Lower demand, setbacks to exports, and higher costs of operations are chipping off profit margins of fisheries and seafood companies. The entire fishing industry comprising open catch, culturing, processing, preserving, storing, transporting, marketing, and retailing of fish or fish products has been impacted. A few of the market forces at play during the pre-pandemic period included advancements in freezing technology and cold chain logistics, and the ensuing popularity of chilled and frozen seafood. Robust demand for prepared and preserved cured seafood options among consumers on the lookout for safe and convenient food options. Storing strong revenue potential of fish meal and fish oil establishments, seafood-only restaurants, and expanding varieties of gourmet seafood dishes, and the healthy growth of farmed seafood in the food service industry. Conclusion. Fish and fish products are a key component to a healthy diet and are safe to eat. Misleading perceptions in some countries have led to decreased consumption of these products. Yet coronavirus can't infect aquatic animals, fine fish, reptile, amphibians, and invertebrates such as crustaceans and mollusks. Therefore, these animals don't play an epidemiological role in spreading COVID-19 to humans. COVID-19 was affecting aquatic food system in two significant aspects, the supply and demand for aquatic food. These two aspects were directly related to food security, so food as well nutritional security is also at risk as the supply of fish and other aquatic food was disrupted. It created less diversity and availability in the market, raised market price, so the consumer couldn't get desired fish species and other aquatic food items that put adverse impact on consumer demand and consumptions. Also, reduced dietary diversity as if they buy fish with high price, they couldn't afford more diversified food items for diet that ultimately put adverse impact in nutritional security. Here is reference. Thank you for attention. Again, thanks to the organizer of this Congress. Bye.